When you look at your guys from last year who are playing this year, how have they excelled in the roles that they are in? You know, like Nick and Sean especially.
They've been great. You know, I think all four of them have gotten better. You can't ever evaluate any of them based on their stats, you know, but, you know, they understand, you know, what we need from them, and they seem to do it. I think Nick Russell's played as good defensively as anybody in the country, probably. Sean just kind of holds the team together. He does all the little things that you never see in a stat sheet. Cannon has stepped up when, you know, Yannick getting hurt and us having foul trouble, and, you know, played really well, but I think he's capable of playing even better. But I said that last year, and he always laughs at me. And pardon me?
Ryan Manuel.
And Ryan, you know, he hadn't had the consistent minutes, nor has Cannon that they had last year. But, you know, when we call on him, he doesn't put his head down. He plays, and he's an underrated defender, and I think he's gotten better and better. So those four guys, you know, they've had to sacrifice a great deal from last year, but have all, you know, made the transition to the new kids and the transfers a lot easier.
A lot of teams struggle with depth. Is this about as deep as you've had? I mean, even when you won the title, it was your team was pretty thin, as I recall.
Well, I had more depth until the middle of the season, and then we had injuries and academic issues and some other issues, and we had to get football players. But that being said, I had 10 players that played in the first half of the championship game. And then my '86 team had great depth. We just got in all sorts of foul trouble. But that team was deep. But this, you know, we've been so lucky, because if we'd had an injury like with Yannick last year, I don't know if we would have won a half, much less a game. So, you know, to have Cannon and Ryan and, you know, Keith and Ben and, you know, all those guys, that's given us a chance for sure.
Just this is kind of random, but who was guarding Manning in that game here, the '86 Final Four?
Nobody.
When he fouled out?
Nobody. The referees guarded him in that game. You go back, I think it was 34-11 free throws. We lost Archie to a knee injury and 3 or 4 guys. Danny played 20 minutes, and everybody was critical of how poorly he played. And I was saying he wasn't allowed to play. You know, he was on the bench, and we lost at the end. That team hung in. That team was terrific. But
yeah, final 4 minutes, right?
Yeah. So, you know, you put your best player on the bench. That's not the best team. You know. So, but they had a good team. You know, they had, you know, Dawkins and, you know, Tommy Amaker and Allery and Jay Billis. And,
Allery, I think he was on me.
Yeah, they had a lot of pretty good players. But we were real good.
After lapses against South Florida and Temple, do you tell the team anything different this week going into another trap game on Saturday?
Well, we played Connecticut since then and Rutgers.
Right, but I'm saying you're like set up for another trap game on Saturday. Is there something?
I mean, every game in the conference is a game you can lose. I mean, you know, there's more familiarity. The games are more meaningful. So everybody, you know, look at. I think Syracuse lost at home to Boston College, so you can't. at this time of year, you can't take any night off and expect to win, and we certainly haven't gotten to the point that we can't play at our best, and expect to win. I mean, we had to do that against Houston. I mean, you had to do that against Rutgers. We didn't get it done against Temple because we didn't play well. We won't get it done against Central Florida if we don't play well. So they know that.
You talked about the depth earlier. You also said earlier in the year you wanted to pare down your rotation a little bit. Do you feel like you've done that?
I mean, I think to some extent, but foul trouble, injuries, that they all impact that. But we were able to play a lot of guys in the first half yesterday, and some didn't play much the second half. We're trying to win games, and play the guys that we think give us the best chance to win, and that can change from game to game, half to half. Foul trouble, injuries, whatever.
Coach, what's your evaluation of Emmanuel Mudiay?
I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
What do you mean by evaluation?
How would you describe him?
I think if I don't mess him up, he'll be playing 82 games a year and 8 exhibition and a bunch of playoff games every year. He's plays the right way. He's really been well coached. He's been brought up the right way. He's going to make people around him better, and he's going to make us better coaches. But he's still got a big part of his season left. But he's pretty special.
For a guard to be that big and that dynamic, it's a rare combination. Have you had guards like that? I'm sure you've had guards like that in the pros, but
he's a high school kid right now. So, I mean, he's got everything that you want. His personality, competitiveness, his intelligence. I mean, I just can't imagine, how lucky we are. He's going to make players around him better, but he still needs to be coached, and that's why he's coming here. He wants, and when you get kids like him and Keith and all these young kids, as a coach, you want to be responsible enough to teach them. Because as good a job as Ray's done with them, you got to teach them and make them better. And the thing I like about him is he wants to be taught. He wants to be great.
He said that you and Uric talked to him quite a bit about effort and defense, even at the high school level, the AAU level, that he needs to show more of that. Is that common? Do you do that with most recruits, or is it a special recruit that you can kind of not treat with kid gloves?
No, I mean I don't. What do you mean by kid gloves? I'm not afraid to say anything to anybody. I talked to Emmanuel about things before we even had him, before he was coming here. I used to remind him, he wants to get to the NBA. One night you guarding Chris Paul, one night you guarding Westbrook, one night Darren Williams, one night Kyrie Irving, and then you have an off night and you got a John Wall, So I was making fun of that. Tony Parker, I said, at that position, you're playing against the best every single night, so you can't take a night off. And then when you're a highly profiled kid, every time you walk in the building, people are expecting great things from you. So I just told him, you just got to give great effort in practice, and every possession, every game. And if you do that with the gifts that you have, you're going to achieve all the things you want. But, I told him, you come here, you're going to be coached. I'm sure the other coaches told him that, but I don't buy this handling kids. I know you might not have mentioned it with kid gloves. You got to coach these kids. You have a responsibility to teach them. And, it's not about criticizing, it's about coaching. And then he's receptive to that. All our kids are receptive to that.